What really inspired you to write this book? Faith is not a business model. Hope is not a strategy.
Education is the progressive discovery of your ignorance. Unlearning now is my superpower. Imagine going to an airport, enter a plane, and you get on the announcement. They say, "We hope this plane lands safely." So, human being, what did God give human being? He gave us a brain. Failure starts from the fear of starting.
Hello, welcome to another episode of the Books Ignite podcast, where we journey into the enchanting world of literature to kindle our minds and our hearts. At Warrital, the catalyst for authors to shine and be cherished, has partnered with the Book Plays app to make this show a reality. And the Books Ignite podcast is designed to bring together all you book lovers out there. I am your host, Adirayo, and I will be guiding you into the literary adventure. In this exciting episode, we have an amazing author, Mr. Mfonobong, who wrote the book Hope is Not a Strategy and Faith is Not a Business Model. And we'll be exploring practical approaches to attain success. But before we go into all of it, I would like to give you a brief of what the book entails. So the book is all about understanding the practical and strategic mechanisms of business. And for your entrepreneurs, business owners, and starters out there, this book will take you to a place of unraveling sane mysteries about faith, what the word faith is about, and what it is not about when it comes to business. You're welcome, Mr. Mfonobong.
Thank you for having me, Warrital.
Yeah, it is great to have you live here in the studio.
You're welcome.
So let's just get right into it. So our first question is, what really inspired you to write this book? Faith is not a business model. Hope is not a strategy. I mean, that is very profound and very insightful. Can you give us background story of what inspired you, to write this book?
So thank you very much. The book it came from a place of self-interrogation where I said, I think everybody should always get there, right? What you say, you question what you think you have known, right? Assumption is the lowest level of intelligence.
Wow.
When you think, okay, I know this thing. Sometimes, that's why I like my most preferred definition of education is that education is the progressive discovery of your ignorance.
Wow.
Do you understand? So when I was younger, I prided myself in what I learned. But now that I'm older, I pride myself in what I'm able to unlearn. So unlearning now is my superpower, right? So there's a word in Greek I love the much. It's called metanoia. We use it to mean repent, but it really means change your mind. So when I come to the point, I begin to interrogate the things that I know. I said, in Nigeria, there's a conditioning that happens. For example, let me give an example. They say you go better. It's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Right? It's a positive affirmation, you go better. So what happens after you go better?
What comes after?
Do you understand? How will it better? Do you understand? So we don't have strategies. What we have is just positive affirmation. God will do it. And when I really interrogate that, I'm like, God will do. What will God do? Did you understand?
Yes.
So because if you understand the functional definition of creation, God gave every creation a strategic advantage.
True.
So you look at the lion, it has the jaws, the paws, and the claws, right? Look at the leopard, the speed, the fish, the ability to breathe underwater. The eagle gives you fish. The eagle has wings to fly. So human being, what did God give human being? He gave us a brain. Do you understand? So I realized that sometimes what we don't do well is use our brain. We tend to outsource our responsibilities to God, forgetting that as a Christian, God tells me that He answers what we pray or ask or think. So thinking is critical. Everything in the beginning, God introduced Himself as the creator. So until we think, right, we can't. So that's why I got to the point. I said, you know what, people. It was in my journal actually. I didn't plan to put a book. So I said, you know what, I think people will really appreciate this.
Yes.
That's how I just put it together, and I said, okay, you know what, let me call Warrital, let's publish it.
That's really awesome and insightful. So this would move us to the next question, because we know Nigerians in the world today, they are one religious set of humans,
Very
and they are so big on hope and faith when it comes to conversation around it, around life and all of that, about success. So how can readers, people out there, how can they transition from this ideology of hope and faith to actionable and realistic plans?
So for me, when you say hope in itself is not a bad thing, right? But that's why I say, I did a contradiction by saying what hope is not. For example, now a calculator is not a bad thing, right? But a calculator is not a phone. You understand? So you can use it for calculation, but you can't use it to make a call.
At all, yes.
So hope is not a bad thing. I'm not demonizing hope. I'm saying it's a great thing, but it is not a strategy. Yes. You can't imagine going to an airport, enter a plane, and you get on the announcement. They say, we hope this plane lands safely.
Without the
Do you understand?
Pilot.
Let's hope. Let's just wish, right? It's not wishful thinking. Yeah. There's actually something called a flight plan. Did you understand? In every proper society, they will not allow you erect a building without a building plan. They won't say, just let's hope the building does not collapse. That's a very backward way to live. Yeah. So there's a plan. There was a plan for Warrior. Warrior is not happenstance. Didn't just, Warrior, hey, there was a plan. Somebody said there's going to be a Warrior book place. There was going to be this part of the division. There was a thinking. There was a design programming. Do you understand? So faith is not a bad thing. Even the Bible says faith without works is dead. You know, when people hear Jesus, they hear Jesus as the Messiah. Did you understand? They don't say, Jesus Christ will save us from you. They don't hear Jesus Christ the businessman. They don't hear Jesus Christ the strategist. When he says, I'll go about my father's business, they don't hear that part. The only time they hear Jesus is that you turn fish to bread, you multiply. They don't see that Jesus said that, hey, you are unprofitable servant. They don't get the part where Jesus said that who will build a house without sitting down to count the cost. That part is just, no, it's for some other people. But when they say Jesus Christ called down fire, that's my Jesus. Did you understand? I must be about my father's business. What is business? Business means a strategic end goal. When Jesus Christ went to that village, right? And he went to sit down at that woman's well, at the well there, to evangelize to a woman. When he converted her, she went to the city. So he had a KPI on that evangelism because he used an influencer. Before there was the word influencer, Jesus Christ recognized her as an influencer. When Jesus Christ raised up Lazarus, did you understand?
Yes.
Raised up Lazarus. They came to see Jesus and Lazarus. Meaning that he had a minimum viable product. It was not just, I'm the miracle worker. People came, there's nobody church or work is there.
Yes.
Did you get that? So when they came, they saw what Jesus could do. So, but we don't see all that part. They just say, Jesus Christ moved in the temple and his holiness, and they don't see God as a strategist. From creation, you can see the mind of God. So, but that again, the way they taught us religion, it really messed our minds up. So, but I get it. That's why the book came about.
That was a revolution and an eye-opener. So, in a nutshell, what Mr. Mfonobong is trying to say to us is that let's move from being hopeful to actually doing it. Let our hope not be an abstract thing. Let it be an active thing that will actually fuel our mind to put it in the work, basically. So, on to our next question now. So, it's kind of similar to that second question.
Yeah.
How can one balance optimism with realistic planning? You know, this I go better ideology, it is well that Nigerians are known to have, and this is actually not a bad thing, like you said, because having a positive mindset is okay, but I'm sure it is actually not enough, and it cannot do the work actually. So how can one balance or kind of transit from being an optimistic person to actually having a realistic plan?
So the first thing you must overcome is inertia, right? Failure starts from the fear of starting, right? If you look at the Bible, and because the book is kind of a faith, so I'm going to reference some things from the Bible. When God said be productive or be fruitful means there is a seed. There cannot be fruit without seed. God has given you something to work with. When God said, Abraham, take your son now and I'll show you a place where you sacrifice him. There was something Abraham could do. He could bring the wood, he could bring the knife. Did you get that? When God told Moses, what do you have in your hand? My point being that whenever God gives you a big vision, there's a small version of that thing. Did you get that?
Yes.
Warrior did not start, I know Fola, like way back, it did not start like this. But your vision is progressive. As you start, it becomes clearer. There's nobody sees it 100% that I know what to do. No, we keep tweaking. Do you understand? This podcast was not there 1 year ago. Do you understand? Because when you get to a certain, it's like a game. You play, I remember when I was young, I used to play a game called Super Mario.
Yes.
When you get to a certain level, you unlock new powers.
Yes.
Did you get that? But that kind of power cannot be unlocked to someone that is staying in one place. You cannot steer a car that is parked. So I believe in, yes, I don't have everything, but start where you are. What do you have? What can you do on your level? Then you begin to scale, right? Think big, start small, but think of scaling, basically.
That's so great. Thank you very much. And like you know, I will always give a summary. So what it's saying is that
Yeah.
put in the work. You cannot climb a ladder from the top. You
Yeah.
start from the very little beginning. Little steps till you get there. So on to the next question. I have this topic on chapter 10,
Okay.
which is serendipity. That word is actually a very, I know some of us are not actually familiar with it.
Yeah.
But there was a particular phrase that struck my mind. That was on the first paragraph that says, "We don't become great, then we start. We actually start, then we become great." I don't know what other line that is thrilling and intriguing than this. So this will lead me on to ask you, can you tell us more about this chapter? Then, can you give us like cogent key messages that you want your readers, people out there that have great minds, business owners, business starters, message that they can apply to their lives and their business from this chapter?
Yeah, so the chapter is called Serendipity. Serendipity is, which I just referenced in my last response. Serendipity is realizing that in the course of your progress, your purpose, right, you will find things that are more accurate pointers of what you should do. Did you understand? Did you know that they should pay me for this advert? Coca-Cola did not start as a beverage company. They started it as a drug, like a pharmaceutical. Did you get that?
Company.
But somebody said, you know what? I think this can work like a beverage. Did you get that? Elon Musk did not found Tesla, but he says, I can take it from here. Did you get that? My point is this. You get to, in the course of your journey, you unlock things that are more poignant to your destiny. For example, I mentioned Abraham. God said, I will show you the place. God never showed him. But when he got there, you now realize, wow, there's a ram caught on the ticket. He would never have known that until he made the move. So miracles, I mentioned in that chapter, that miracles is in your miracle is in your move, right? Until you make a move. People say, I want to own a house. I want to marry. I want to build it. I want to do something. But that's not a bad thing. Where do you start from? Did you get that? So I think every vision should have a minimum viable product. What can you do with what you have? Exactly. Do you understand? So yes. I believe people are intimidated by social media. Oh, he's driving a car. Do you understand? Not everybody shares their backstory. Not everybody shared when they were squatting with their friends.
True.
They won't post it on social media. Do you understand? I remember somebody's a big person now. When he did the first interview, he came to borrow suits. But if I tell you, you never know. Because we helped ourselves. Did you get that? So you don't know that part. You put in your pressure. You want to start. See, the only job people start from the top is grave digging. You get the joke? Grave digging is the only job people start from the top and get downward.
Get down.
Every other thing in life,
So
you
funny.
start from the down.
You start from the down
So
to the top.
when you say I want to become great, without the process, people think of greatness as a point. Greatness is it's not what you get, it's what you become. Do you understand? So I think people will miss the journey because of the pressure of the circumstances we are in. Instagram generation. Everybody wants to get it now. Oh, that guy bought a car. I must buy a car. So they define their successes by the context of others. So I think serendipity is a very good chapter for those that are afraid for starting. Do you understand? What if I fail?
Yeah, I was going to talk about
what they
that.
will say. They does not exist. They happens in your mind.
Yes.
So you must be able to have those internal conversations with yourself. Did you understand? And David said to himself, what does that mean? David encouraged himself. He talked to himself. You must learn to talk to yourself like, hey, they don't exist. That's what it's called strongholds. Those things that weigh you down, what they will say. And unfortunately, many people have failed, not because they did not try, but because they are afraid of what people say. It paralyzes them.
Yeah, like perfection is actually a myth.
Myth.
It actually does not exist.
Excellence is.
And like you said, I think what actually people have in mind is the fear of starting.
Sure.
So like I would like to ask more like a part B of that question.
Sure.
At what point do you get to realize that you need to start? Is it when you actually have all the right plans in your head, or you just have that feeling, or you just got inspired to do it? Like, at what point do you need to break loose from that fear of starting?
Sometimes one of the reasons why I made a joke, I said I used to be shy until I realized I had to pay rent.
Oh, yeah.
Right? you are too comfortable.
Money is the inspiration.
Did you get that? I'm like, I know I'm too shy. I can't do this. No, because nobody has put any pressure on you. Did you get that? You are not frustrated enough. You don't want it bad enough. Do you understand? So you can like, yeah, I don't want this job is too stressful. My mental health. So, do you get? Don't worry. Poverty is a mental health. Poverty
like
will
money
realize
is a
that-
big inspiration.
Did
At the
you
end
get
of
that?
the day.
So I'm not saying you should be materialistic, but I'm saying that you must get to the point you're uncomfortable where you are.
Where you are.
Do you understand? Like, no, I can't do this. At my Have you ever marked your bed? I'm like, this age where they turn now.
I'm getting older.
Like I say, the math is not mathing.
It's not mathing.
Do you get? I should not be here.
How did I get here?
Do you get? You just know that nobody tell you anything. You're
Honestly.
the way this maternal set, like the way that's the most. See, all this motivational speaker is great too, but the best motivational speaker is what you on your own. You don't sit down and think of your life. Like
Self-realization.
see that prodigal son. Nobody tell him.
In
Only he
fact,
came to himself like, wait,
what am I doing
what
here?
am I? See that moment. That is the moment of
Moment
destiny.
truth.
Nobody is pressuring you. Nobody. Your father is not beating you. You are a big boy now.
What is beating you? Is the side
You
of
just
you?
sit down and think. So when you are too comfortable, when people are too comfortable that and don't worry, you just realize that wait, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be married. I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to be unmarried. I'm not supposed to be earning this much.
Sorry. Let me break you there. When you say you're not supposed to be married, like, is there something you really one can do by self to get married?
No. When I said so, I'm not putting pressure on marriage. I'm saying that you feel. I'm giving exciting examples.
Okay.
You might say I should not be jumping a car, keke, or do you understand? I should have my car. Did you understand?
True.
So now, in your quote unquote quest to get a car, you now backtrack it to what should I do to get a car. From there, you're not looking words. I'm like, okay, it be like a bit rapu. Because they say, if you notice, they say hungers will never bring out your talent.
Natural talent.
Because more, it be like a bit rapu. It be like, do you understand? Until there's no, there is no juice until there's a squeezing. So until they squeeze you, like your talent will jump up because
come out.
you have to survive. You have to. Do you understand? So I believe in when people are too comfortable. See, my brother, when you are too comfortable, like, okay, they are feeding you 3 times a day. And Ubon King, God bless his soul, he died 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Said when they are still feeding you at a certain age, the person is doing you a disservice. Do you understand? Because the man at the pool of Bethsaida, something I'm going to write out on Independence Day, I related it to Nigeria. Have you noticed for 38 years, he had people that brought him to the pool. But when they asked him, John said, I found no man
to help me.
But the people that bring him to the pool 38 years, how far? Nobody feel push you enter the pool. So people that are feeding you are making you comfortable. They're not necessarily helping you. Do you understand? They are helping you get to where you are getting by. You are thinking you're enjoying. Nobody help for 38 years. Think about it.
Wow.
368 days in a year. 38 years.
Yes.
People were bringing him to the pool. But when they asked him, say, I found no man to put me in the pool. Do you understand? So people can help your dysfunction. You think they are helping you. They're not the third person. In the future, you go soft.
That's profound.
You go soft.
Okay, I hope we've been inspired to aspire. The
To
basic
Maguire.
line.
Shout out to Maguire.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mfonobong, for sharing this great insights with us.
You're welcome.
And I'm sure that we are well equipped with the practical tips needed to attain success.
Thank you so much for having me.
So thank you so much for joining us in the studio
You're welcome.
today. So as we conclude, remember to keep your passion for reading alive. For all the book lovers out there, books have the actual ability to rekindle your passion and take you to a new height. And this edition of Books Ignite is made possible by Warritor, the ultimate publisher that ensures authors shine, resonate, and capture hearts. I am your host, Aderiot. We'll meet again for another intriguing episode of Books Ignite. Stay inspired by the magic of books. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.